Mayor Brandon Johnson leads a delegation to the Vatican to meet with Chicago's very own Pope Leo. The mayor's take on the meeting and our conversation with a rabbi who was there today. Back in Chicago, we go one-on-one with one of the first 2027 mayoral hopefuls. Let's get to the point.
From Chicago's very own, with WGN political editor Tahman Bradley, this is The Point.
Good evening. Mayor Brandon Johnson calls his meeting with Pope Leo XIV humbling. During a private meeting at the Vatican today, Johnson said he and the Chicago-born leader of the Catholic Church talked about their shared faith and issues around immigration. Also on the agenda, Chicago sports.
What I witnessed was an incredibly humble individual whose roots really defined his leadership in this moment. I think that the unique thing in this moment is that, like Chicago style, we take everything seriously, everything. And so the conversation around the Cubs and Sox was just as energetic as the conversation that we had around showing up for the most vulnerable and the least of these.
The mayor is leading a delegation of 46 people, including business leaders, faith leaders, members of city council, and CTU President Stacey Davis Gates. Also traveling with the group is Rabbi Lizzi Heydemann, founder of Mishkan Chicago. We caught up with the rabbi, who's still in Rome, a short time ago. You had an amazing day. You met the Pope today.
I did. I met the Pope today. Me and 46 other delegates and the mayor of Chicago met the Pope today.
Just take us inside that meeting, inside going into the Vatican. What was it like?
So I had two parts to my visit to the Vatican today. I visited the Vatican in the morning with thousands and thousands of pilgrims and tourists. And it was beautiful and ornate and unbelievably, the art, the sculpture, the history. But in the afternoon, myself and these 46 delegates from Chicago, business leaders, civic leaders, government leaders, faith leaders, labor leaders, all got into vans and went through the back of St. Peter's Basilica and through ways that I don't know that tourists have seen, to a courtyard where we all got out. And we're all wearing dark clothes, respectful clothes, all, women with skirts below our knees and below the elbow, and, men with ties that are muted and in somber colors. And we all take elevators up to the floor where we're going to walk down a very long hallway with beautiful painted ceilings, as so many buildings here are just absolutely gorgeous, and painted, imagery, scenes from the Bible, scenes from the history of Christianity. And, well, then we put our phones on a table, and we all went into a room, and we sat down, and we waited. And we all faced a chair at the front of the room. It was an empty chair, and we were told this would be where the Pope would come and sit. He would speak to us for a few minutes, and then we would each have a few minutes, or moments, really, a few moments to have a few words with the Pope. Some people brought rosaries for him to bless. Some people, Alderman Julia Ramirez brought her baby for the Pope to bless. People had audience, and he also, of course, had a much more full meeting with the mayor right beforehand.
Did the Pope seem excited to be essentially hanging with his people?
I really think he did. I think he was excited. He did seem excited. He started off by giving us his Chicago credentials, like South Side, North Side, West Side. He dropped some street names of, places where family members lived. I think as a way of kind of saying to this group of Southsiders and Northsiders, Cubs fans and Sox fans, we're all from the same city, and in the same way that he really, tries to send a message of shared humanity to the world. I think he was also sending a message of shared Chicago to this room full of Chicagoans, which of course, everybody loved. It was very meaningful. I think it was very meaningful to him.
And is it correct that he blessed the city of Chicago?
Yeah.
What was that like? What was the message?
He reiterated some of the points of shared values that he discussed with the mayor taking care of the least of these, taking care of all of the members of our human family. He really just kind of shared with us his own history of Chicago, history of living and growing up in and having family in Chicago, the whole city. Being a fan of all the teams. Though he did not put on the Cubs hat that the mayor gave him at the end of the meeting. Famously.
You couldn't do that. There's no way you could do that. He's a true Sox fan.
We gave him my spiritual community, Mishkan Chicago, gave him a Sox branded kippah, like a Sox branded head covering. So, maybe if they make the World Series, he'll wear it. We'll see.
That's the perfect gift for this particular Pope. Rabbi Lizzi Heydemann, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
We're back in 60 seconds. He calls himself a radical moderate Democrat. Liam Stanton was one of the first candidates to officially get in the 2027 race for Chicago mayor. The Rogers Park native says his approach of going directly to voters in their neighborhoods and on social media will set him apart from a field of well-known politicians. We caught up earlier today to talk about the campaign. Liam Stanton, none of this exploratory committee mess. You're running for mayor, so how's it going?
It's good. We're running into it. The dailies used to say you need fire in your belly to do this, so we thought we'd just run right into it. It's great. Running for mayor is a unique beast, as you know, and you've talked to lots of people that are doing or will do it, and it's a lot of fun. You get to go all over the city and meet all different types of people, but we're having a blast.
Who are you talking to, and have you gotten people to join your campaign?
Yes, we're talking, I'm a Chicagoan, I'm a lifelong Chicagoan, grew up in Rogers Park, so I really value that sort of everyday perspective, and that's who I find myself talking to. We'll grab a mic, we'll go downtown, we'll go to the neighborhoods, we'll talk to people just on the streets, and we'll pass them by and say, hey, what do you want to see improved about the city? What do you think's going well? What can we do better? So everyday Chicagoans, I think, are our target audience. We've gotten lots of people to join our campaign. And I would say we're not going to have the big traditional names and all that, the special interest, but we've got lots of people to join on. We've got about 10,000 people on our mailing list. We've got hundreds of volunteers, so we're excited about it.
We expect some really big, heavy hitters to get into this contest. We won't name any names just yet since people aren't officially in the race. How do you compete? How do you break through when you're going to be facing off against political superstars?
Yeah, well, I think political superstars is the operative word there. Political would be the word. I'm not a politician, and nor do I aspire to be a politician. And I think Chicagoans are ready for non-politicians because they're ready for something new. If we expect the situation we're in to improve and to change, we can't keep electing these same career politicians who are going to bring the same mindset that's gotten us here in the first place. And we also can't keep electing the people who are completely beholden to special interests because they're in someone's pocket. So what I bring is two things. I'm rooted in our neighborhoods. I grew up in Chicago. I have those values that we all share. And I also bring some pretty unique experience that comes from outside of politics, but is really relevant. I've run small businesses, I've run big businesses, and it takes a lot of, a sense of urgency and creativity and ability to get people to work together. That's exactly what Chicago needs right now. It needs something new and fresh. We don't need more of the same.
But to your point, our recent mayors, Cook County Board Commissioner, U.S. Attorney, State's Attorney, former Congressperson, Chief of Staff to the President of the United States, that's a lot of political experience. You don't have political experience.
Correct. Yeah, I don't have political experience, but I have a lot of experience that's relevant to doing this job well. So, if you look at the situation Chicago is in, the financial mess we're in, crime is becoming a big issue, it consistently is a big issue, affordability crisis, all these things. We've tried everything that these politicians are going to try. We've tried, it doesn't work. So you need something new. The definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again. What I offer is something new, a new way to look at problems, a new urgency. And I think voters are really, really craving that. And some of the early responses supported that.
On public safety, what would your new look be?
So I think on public safety, we need to address the facts, which is, we are told this narrative that the city is safe and all. That's not the case. That is absolutely not the case. So, I think the first thing we would do is look at getting these 600 officers that were in this recent report back into the field. 250 of them should be detectives. The others should be in patrol in areas that need police the most. The other thing is working with Springfield to revise parts of the Safety Act that allow violent repeat offenders to go out on electronic monitoring. Absolutely, we would change that. Using technology better. ShotSpotter is a good example. The mayor today was saying, hey, look at our response times for this technology after it's gone. I have a totally different opinion of that. The reason why we got ShotSpotter on the first point is if you have 10 shootings in the city, 8 of them are not reported. those people are still in need of help and service. And we're saying, oh, we're just not going to serve them anymore. I would absolutely look at bringing ShotSpotter or similar technology back to serve Chicagoans better. On the CTA, fare evasion gates and expand CPD's mass transit detail, that'll absolutely squash crime on the CTA where it's become a hotspot. So those are just some of the things we do on crime.
What's your big plan for this summer? Because you got out early. A lot of people were focused on the November election. So how do you get attention before that election and then pivot to February of next year?
Yeah, we're going to be everywhere. So we're going to be everywhere. We do all the festivals. We're going to be doing events all over the city, meeting people, making content online. I think what's another thing that's unique was we're about to roll out our policy, and we're going to have a very interactive policy that's going to be way more in depth than you'd see it for candidates. And I think that'll show how we use technology, how we're able to get some new ideas into the mix. So we're going to be everywhere, man.
Liam Stanton, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Now to Springfield, Governor Pritzker told Capital News Illinois yesterday there's lots of ticky-tack little things being worked out on the mega projects plan with just 3 days left in session. So with that in mind, tonight a tip of the hat to Justin Lawrence of Crane Chicago Business. Reporters love to tell you what they know. Justin decided to discuss what he doesn't know. He posted on X, "The only thing I'm confident of in the Bears stadium situation is that your cousin's buddy doesn't know what's going to happen. Nor do the sports pundits or me or Illinois lawmakers or the Bears. Some will be correct because there are only a few options, not their inside info." Hear, hear. And that is The Point. I'm Tahman Bradley. Micah's back with more news tonight at 9 o'clock. Good night.